Hey guys, this is Heri from Týr. Allow me to explain to you the origins of the Faroese traditional ballad Ragnars Kvæði. We used that ballad with my band Týr on the album Hel, released on March 8th, 2019 on Metal Blade Records. I'll leave the purchase link for you in the description below if you're interested. I have never heard this ballad performed by anyone in person. I only came across it when I bought the compilation CD Flickvande Bil, released in 1997 on Tutl Records in the Faroe Islands. It is a compilation of some of the oldest recordings made in the Faroes, some of them recorded by anthropologists as early as 1902. That CD contains 5 separate recordings of Ragnars Kvæði. This ballad is usually divided into 2 parts. They are called Fyrstatotter and Annartotter, meaning quite simply the first part and the second part. The second part is occasionally also called Krakototter, meaning the part of the crow, and it is that part I've used on our album Hel. The reason for the occasional name Krakototter is that when in the ballad Ragnar Loðbrók meets Osla and asks her for her name, she first says her name is Kraka, and that means crow. The recording on this CD, where I got the melody from, is of a man called Mortan af Flöttenun singing. He lived from 1892 to 1972. He was from Hvalba on Suðuroy, the southernmost of the Faroes. He is obviously quite old by the time this recording was made, so it's probably not his best performance. Listen to this.
Ikke fikk konkurren fria kvila kvartjon nattelade ade fyrren han heie knarre smoja sovor i vår hav kitaron strandkjør bergast landkje synker og jattar mannkje flauon drera trimon kjaltron arnon drera vantjon deier detta dronkjør nyra svøren.
I thought it was a very captivating melody and subject, although the chorus here seems partly nonsensical, to be honest. So I did a bit of digging, and sure enough, there were 7 manuscripts of this ballad. 5 of them included the second part, but none of these other manuscripts had the refrain that I needed. When there are several manuscripts and recordings of the same ballad, often they will use different melodies and different refrains. The refrain is actually more attached to the melody than to the text of the ballad. Faroese ballads have been written down starting in the 17th century, and by the mid-19th century I think it is safe to assume that most traditional Faroese ballads were available on manuscript. These manuscripts were all compiled by scholars in one body of work and published from 1941 under the Latin name Corpus Carminum Faroensium, meaning the body of Faroese ballads. The 8th and final book of the body of Faroese ballads is this one. It contains the transcribed notes of all known Faroese traditional melodies. There are here transcriptions of 15 recordings of Ragnars Kvæði, and again, only one of them used the refrain that I needed here, but that one is also partly nonsensical. However, I find in this book the same refrain used in 2 other unrelated ballads. One is a version of the ballad Fuiban Fagra, and the other is a version of Vilmunds Kvæði. One of those versions of this refrain makes much more sense lyrically. So I cross-referenced the 3 versions of the refrain that I found, and I made what I estimated to be a decently realistic reading of the text in a supposed original version. And I combined that with the melody from the Flickvande Bil compilation CD. Let me explain to you the contents of this refrain of Ragnars Kvæði. I'll read in Faroese, translate literally, and I'll explain. The first line. Tuttur vi strandjon berjast drangir. Literally, fast with strings, fight lads. Rephrased to better English, lads fight fast with bowstrings, meaning fast on their bowstrings, heroes fight. Drangir literally means boys or lads, but in Faroese ballads, it's frequently used in the meaning heroes. The second line, syngur ui otta manche, literally sings in the vanguard. Rephrased, maybe the vanguard sings. Singing here most likely referring to the ringing of swords, helmets and other metal objects used in battle. I regret to have to tell you, on the text on the album I left an R in the word otta manche that doesn't belong there. Simple carelessness on my part. The third line, Klovna taka tvinne skjöldur, literally split start double shields, or rephrased, double shields start to split. Self-explanatory that one. The battle is so hard that even doubled or reinforced shields don't last. The fourth line, Örnen drever av anker, the eagle draws on wings, meaning the eagle takes flight. Maybe referring to the birds of prey that come to feast on the fallen after a battle, or it's some lofty reference to heroism or death, I'm not sure. The fifth and final line of the chorus, Deir detta dranger nier av svøren, literally dead fall lads down on the topsoil, meaning heroes fall dead on the field. As you see, this refrain does not necessarily refer to Ragnar Lobrog, but to early medieval battle in general. A lot of refrains in Faroese ballads are like that. They have some poetic or epic content, but they rarely refer to specific persons or events. One notable exception to that is Ragnars. I'll leave in the description below the link for the Týr version of Ragnars Kvæði on Spotify and on Apple Music. That's it for this one. I hope you find this interesting. In a future video, I will lay out the story in the Faroese ballad Ragnars Kvæði with specific emphasis on the 3 verses I've used. Please like this video and please leave any comment that you want and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss future episodes. Remember to activate that little alarm bell beside the subscription button or YouTube won't let you know when I release videos. I want to thank my kind-hearted and intelligent patrons on Patreon. They are, among others, Benny Olsen, Greg Stock, Tuesday Publishing, Erica Wareski, Tiffany Lee, Graham Peebles, Juan Gonzalez, Michael Lewandowski, Mike Hines, and Scott. The rest of you stingy and shameless freeloaders, please consider supporting my video creation on YouTube. Go to patreon.com/Heri Joensen. The page explains itself. I'd be most grateful for even the smallest contribution. Until next week, cheers.